Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to another episode of Coffee with Carl. Let's face it, there's a lot more gentlemen here than there are ladies. Mom, hi, how you doing? So, 71, here we are. There's some cool stuff that's come out. And, this is the time of year that starts, if you're like me, you start having a little bit of a panic attack because you're putting away your cool winter clothes and you're going, what the hell do I wear now that looks half as cool as the stuff that I was able to wear in the, fall, winter, early spring. It was 81 degrees here yesterday, and I was scrambling to find stuff that I had that, was my summer stuff. And it sucks because you're really forced to make this decision between something that looks cool and something that functions and keeps you cool in the heat. And those two things, I don't think they have to be mutually exclusive, but damn, it sure feels like that sometimes. For example, I don't really like shorts, but the case is that there are times where shorts just make sense. So I like to exercise. One of the things that I do almost every single day is take the dog for a walk. And we have a little 2.5 mile loop that we do, and honestly, it's pretty low impact. I do it more or less for the health benefits rather than really trying to get a sweat going or anything like that. And cardio's never been my thing. I mean, I'm kind of a slow, lazy bear when it comes to the gym. I prefer to, lift heavy, and that's, you know what I mean? That's kind of always been the way. I don't know if that's what I got myself into mentally. I kind of wish, you know how it is, right? I mean, geez, if you have straight hair, you wish you had curly hair. If you have curly hair, you wish you had straight hair, kind of thing. I kind of wish in a way that I could get more into the endurance type of stuff. And I have a treadmill and stuff like that, but it's I never get the same amount of excitement that I do and the same, yeah, that was awesome feeling out of doing cardio that I do with lifting weights. And so I've just kind of come to the conclusion that maybe physiologically I'm just built the way that is better for doing that kind of exercise. And I'm one to always try to listen to my body. Anyway, so I took the dog for a walk. I got a weave going on, and sometimes that weave gets kind of wide. But I took the dog for a walk, and I was wearing a pair of Carhartt B01, the double front pants, and I was like, maybe I really don't want to walk around in these. It was 81 degrees out, 2 layers of 12-ounce canvas. Nah, I don't think that's going to do it. So I went, and I really only have 3 pairs of shorts. And I have these techie ones that are meant for, they're stretchy, they're tech fabric, they're meant for gym and stuff like that. And then I have a couple others, but those are the ones that I go to most. And I put them on, and immediately I was like, oh no, I got to start putting away my flannels. I got to put away the Henleys. I got to start getting out the t-shirts and the lighter weight stuff. And it's tough, especially, I'm not saying that the way you look and the way you dress is who you are, but it's an expression of who you are. And a lot of people look at us, the people who actually care about this stuff, and especially the hyper macho types. I don't care what I look like, I'll wear a trash bag, and I know this because I work with them every single day. People who feel that way. And I guess in a way, it's sort of maybe this defense mechanism. It's a lot easier to feel like you're winning a game if you just refuse to play it, right? But the truth is that we are judged on how we look, and how I've dressed and the way I present myself has gotten me further in life than I would say, my education. Certainly, when I was promoted to a foreman, it was because I could go to a job meeting and present well and speak well and look like I represented the company. There were other people who knew more than I did and were more experienced, but they looked like they crawled up from underneath their truck that night. So, it does matter. That's my point. And whether that's attracting a mate, or whether that's, in your life, or simply leaving the house feeling better about yourself, to me, the downsides of the occasional macho dope telling me that they don't care how they dress is a price I'm certainly willing to pay. So the importance of the way you dress and the way you look and all that stuff, it's shocking when it comes to the summertime, because what we wear and what we like, if you're watching this channel, I assume you're kind of like me, is this sort of rugged style, right? So we like leather, we like wool, we like denim, we like the things that have a sort of timeless workwear aesthetic to them for no other reason than we like it. And it's kind of tough to do that. Now this year, I am gonna try to really find some gems that work in the heat. They're not easy to find, I'll say that much. I do have a pair of Kato brand, oh boy, they're like an off-white denim, stretchy, not super thick, and those are like my go-to in the heat. They are awesome. Number one, the stretch really helps you because if you have leg hair, like most of us do, it's like when your skin gets clammy because it's I'm just kind of a little bit gross, you know, so I'm trying to like tiptoe around this. If you have leg hair and you're already kind of sweating a little bit, and then that rigid fabric kind of pushes up against it, it's not pretty. It's like ingrown hair city, and it just hurts, and it's very uncomfortable. I don't like it at all. I'm sure you don't either. That stretch helps a lot in that case because your pants are sort of they're giving and taking with you, which is nice. So I prefer that. And then of course, you know, we have chambray, we have linen, but it does feel like, you know, in the summer, in the wintertime, you could throw a stone and hit some cool looking flannel shirt. When I do my flannel shirt roundups, it's not like I have to go searching for flannel shirts. I have to start deducting from the amount that I've started to compile to make a video about them because there's so many I want to check out. But you go and you look for a decent linen shirt or a linen chambray or a linen, you know, cotton, you really kind of got to dig. And so that's why I try to talk about them when I find them. You know, like Ironheart had theirs. Last week we talked about Naked and Famous. You know, there's a lot of different companies that make these things, but you really do have to dig a little bit. And that's why I try to surface them here for you. But I want to find some neat stuff this year that works well for the summer. And depending on where you are, the summer could mean different things. Up here in New England, we can wear lighter colored, stretchy selvage denim, and it works just fine. If, though, you are in Florida and humidity is like 80% and it's 100 degrees, well, in that case, that might even be crazy for you. So it all depends on where you are, what you do, and all that stuff. So, you know, anyway, we'll figure it out together, won't we? I have some cool stuff to talk about this week, or at least I think it's cool, and I hope you do too. So let's dive right in. All right, Freenote cloth. Now, I'm not sure if this is a new product. Sometimes these things get released and shown to me as if they are a brand new product, but they just might be a re-release or a different color, or we brought it back kind of thing. So let's just take that with a, you know, let's just apply that to everything in this channel from now on. Why don't we? Now, this is their deck pants, a 14-ounce slub, which is $300. I know. But it's 14-ounce slub fabric from Japan. Japanese herringbone pocket bags, flat-filled seams, SB tanning leather patch. That's the company that Red Wing owns, their tannery. Custom labels made in the USA, metal hardware from Kentucky, 100% cotton, sewn in the USA. It's $300, like I mentioned, so it's very expensive. But here's the thing, okay? I have definitely found that it can be hard to find, and this one might be a little more difficult than others. It can be hard to find pants that can be dressed up. And so there are times when wearing jeans, which I love to wear, is not appropriate, especially if I'm going to be going into a job meeting or, you know, something like that. Or if I'm going to be going into the corporate office to, you know, talk about, you know, maybe a kickoff meeting, or maybe it's a, you know, a bonus season. Everybody's getting brought in to do a review. You know, you need something you can kind of dress up a little bit more than jeans. And I always am on the always looking out for that kind of thing. This is close, and I like the way this straddles the line between workwear. You know, you can almost see where this, just because of the coarseness of the weave and the slub, you could almost see where this would be a little bit almost on the work pant side. However, it also could be dressed up, and I like stuff that could do dual purpose like that. Now, the one thing, and that's why I kind of had a little bit of hesitation earlier, the one thing that is really stopping me from getting these is that leather patch sewn above the right back pocket. That is, number one, I don't really like a whole lot of exterior branding, if any. that is very difficult to cover up. If it was on the waistband, I could cover it up with a belt, but since it's down there, these are going to be a stretch to make work with a dress shirt or a tie or something like that. So I think they're cool. I just think that they do have a little bit of a limited use, and maybe you're one of those people who just doesn't like jeans, you know? So this could be a good option for you as far as like an alternative. And Freenote cloth makes great stuff. I do think that Freenote cloth pants and bottoms are some of the best out there. Their tops can be kind of hit or miss, but I think where they really hit their stride is with interesting pants. So they tend to do those just as well as anybody out there, as far as I'm concerned. I think they do awesome stuff. And, so these could be really good, but again, $300 is no small amount, and I would certainly want to try them on first. Still, good option. All right, here's one that I was very excited to see because I love this brand, and that's Dehen. Listen, I've said it the right way before. I can't remember what that is. You know who I'm talking about, though. Dehen 1920. I'm going to call him Dehen. Whatever. Anyway, this is their heavy-duty raincoat, and especially in ginger camo, wow, really cool looking. Camo is one of those things that you have to be. It's like using ginger. Wow, that's weird because that's the name of the. I totally didn't plan that. It's like using ginger in a recipe, and I don't cook, but I assume that's what it's like. It's just funny that's also the name of the color. Damn, blew my own mind right there. Anyway. So as you like using ginger in a recipe, you can really make something interesting, but use too much ruins it. So, I say limit it to one camo item per outfit because, you either are going to go full G.I. Joe or you're going to have really conflicting, very bold patterns, which is like, it could be a bit much for most people. Maybe there's somebody out there who's wild enough that can rock it and it looks great, but for my taste, I think it's best to limit it to one piece. And this is a nice kind of subtle camo that they're using on here. It doesn't look too, Vietnam era. It doesn't look really, it looks artistic. It looks different. I like the color that's in there. They have those warmer tones of the brown and the red, complemented by the green. And it's just a really nice blend of earth tones. And so this is Haley Stevenson's wax cotton, which is from the UK. And it just looks awesome. Now, it's not cheap. Okay, it's not cheap. This is $595. Made in the USA, 12-ounce cotton. It's awesome. Here's the thing with Dehen or whatever. I have a couple things from them, and they are all basically the best of whatever they are. So the thing that I love the most from them is their shawl, collar, sweater, coat, I think it's called. It's a long name. 2.0. The 2.0 version especially because it has the exterior patch pockets. I have two of those that I bought, and I'm thinking about getting a blue one maybe this year because I wear them all the time. They look dynamite. And when you put one of these on, people automatically go, whoa. I've had more people compliment me on these things or think that I was dressed up to go somewhere when really it just feels like I'm wearing like a cozy sweater. It's awesome. And the construction is beautiful. I would love to try more of their stuff. It's a little bit cost prohibitive because it is so expensive that I probably have something that kind of does what it does with the amount of clothes that I've accumulated over the years. But I would certainly try one of these out. And I think they did a great job with choosing that particular camo. It does come in a couple of different colors and stuff, which, maybe if that's more your thing, a little more subtle, I can understand that. But beautiful. Really nice job on this one. And I am certainly tempted. I don't need it. I should get it. All right, sticking with camo, but getting back to the summer thing that I was talking about before. This is, I was poking around Hanoia, and I found this. This is the Burgus Plus Fez shorts. Not Fez like F-E-Z, but F-E-S, Fez shorts. Camouflage pattern BP25301, because that matters. But when you look at these, now there are two different camos that you could get. One is almost like the one we just looked at from Haley Stevenson's, but the one that I like is the one that's a little bit more, I don't know exactly what you would call it because it kind of gives you just this BP, whatever. It's the smaller one, the smaller pattern. The bigger pattern looks okay, but the smaller pattern I think looks really cool. And it also has this really interesting nylon plastic buckle type of drawstring to it, which to me just works really well casually. I love that it has an internal belt to it, you know, especially if, you know, a lot of times you don't want to wear a belt, just adds extra heft. A big leather belt kind of goes against the whole idea of some decent looking shorts and stuff. And I don't know, if it were me, I could totally rock these shorts and then just like a plain white tee. Give me a tee from Unbleached Apparel. And I'm happy for the summer. That could be just fine. I just think that would be a great dynamite combination because you have the interest of the shorts there with a plain white tee and go about your business. Do whatever you're doing. Just don't do it in loafers. These are expensive though. $110. I know it's expensive. Oh wait, hang on a second. Let me go back. All right, let me back it up a little bit. If I had bothered to scroll down a little bit, I would have seen that there's Hunter Camo and there is Brushstroke Camo. I believe the one that I like is Hunter Camo. Yes, it is Hunter Camo. CM1. Don't buy these because I don't think there's a lot of them and I want them, so don't buy them. But anyway, I think that looks really cool. The brushstroke is really cool too, but $110 is a lot of money for a pair of shorts, but how many shorts do you really need? I mean, really, I can get by with like I said, I think I have 3 or 4 pairs of shorts now. Adding one to that as like an alternative like this one, I could be fine with. And I think I might do that because I like these. They're different. They're unique. And the length is good too. Like, you know, these hit just above the knee, which is kind of where I want my shorts. I don't like the short shorts thing. I've heard they work well for running and stuff like that, but there's this tendency to wear shorts that are like, you know, mid-thigh, and maybe it's my build, maybe it's just my preference, maybe I'm just getting old, but I don't really like that. I like shorts that are, you know, give me just above the knee. I'm fine with that. The shorter than that, no. You're just showing off a little too much. But I like these. And like I said, wait till I buy them before you go and click buy it now, because if you buy them all up, I am going to be able to do nothing about it. From Freeman Seattle, all-weather company, I guess they say here, but I saw this and I immediately, I'm a sucker for Sashiko, like I said, you know, with certain things, right? There's certain stuff that I just can't help myself. Sashiko is one of them. And again, in small doses, it can be great. But this one in particular caught my eye. Now, this is their Sashiko Studio Coat in Indigo. Here's the best part about it. I'm not going to bury the lead. It's $245 for a Sashiko coat. That is very, very good. And something about this particular fabric I thought was interesting, because a lot of times with Sashiko, it more or less looks like a big basket weave, right? That's kind of the nature of it. This, on the other hand, has a certain something to it. I can't put my finger on it, and I don't know enough about fabrics, admittedly, to really tell you what it is. Something about this just looks good. I don't know if it was the combination of the almost seersucker look that you get when that fabric is bunched the way it is when you use a Sashiko stitch like this, or if it's those buttons, or if it's I don't know, something about this just did it for me. And if it's done in indigo like this, the fades should be awesome. It should look better with time, which is, again, one of the things that we look for, right? So let's read a little bit more about this. This is a mid-weight 2-ply 13-ounce natural indigo dyed cotton. Natural indigo. So there you go. I actually have a natural indigo Ironheart shirt, and the fades with natural indigo are very cool. They're very bright and vibrant, and you know, a lot of people pay extra for that. I think I paid, I'm embarrassed to say this, I think I paid something like $400 for that Ironheart shirt. 1 chest pocket with pencil slot, 2 lower patch pockets, burnt Corzo nut buttons. Corzo nut, really cool. Made in Seattle, Washington, USA, double needle top stitching throughout. That's the Sashiko that I showed you there. And I'm telling you, man, this looks great for an American-made Sashiko coat that's just different and looks like it's put together beautifully. How can you do better than that for that price? That's dynamite. That is a steal, no matter how you slice it. It looks awesome. And also, you know what? It comes in a couple of different colors. I mean, I picked out the indigo one, but they also have it in stone and moss, which are I think a little bit cheaper too. Those are $245, and the indigo version is, what did I say, $295? No, the indigo is $245 as well. What are you waiting for? Go get this thing. All right, 1620 Workwear is, if you didn't know, one of my favorite workwear companies. Now I have a lot, you know what I mean? But I tend to really gravitate towards the brands that I have a personal relationship with, because then it's just like your friend's brand, you know? And 1620 has been one of those companies that I got on board with a long time ago because they were doing some stuff that nobody else was really doing at the time. And their shop pant to this day is still like one of my absolute favorite work pants. Matter of fact, Grant, who used to work for Nick's Boots, he used to be the general manager over there. These are his pants of choice, the shop pants. I know he wears them all the time. If you're watching, what's up, Grant? He's a good dude, and we still keep in touch, and he loves the shop pants. Something about them, they look dressed up because of the fabric that they use. It's a proprietary fabric, but they stretch like crazy. They're water resistant. I'm waiting for the downside. And I guess if you had to argue of any downside with 1620, it might be the price. You know, I mean, their stuff is not cheap, but it's great. It really is. So they've done this new thing, which is called upcycled hem and scrap, because they hand hem the pants. When you order them from 1620, they'll hem them for you. So they basically have all these leftover pieces of material, and they decided to make some stuff out of it, which is really cool. So it says here, scrap fabric put to work. Since day one, we've hemmed every 1620 pant to order, giving you the best fit and widest size range in workwear. So what happens to that fabric that gets cut off in this process? We put it to work. This limited collection turns those scrap hem ends into tough gear for storage and organization, ready to work for you. So they have, I think, 3 pieces here. And they all look pretty cool, and actually they're very affordable. One's a tin holster, which I think began as a joke. I think they made this as a joke, but it actually, they ended up making it. So, you know, that's one. The other is a hem end zip pouch, $18 for this. I want to get back to that. And then the tool roll for $60. Tool rolls are great, and I think these are really good, not just for tools. I mean, of course, that's what it's called, but you can use these for almost anything. Matter of fact, if you collect pens, if you collect anything, if you want to put your writing utensil, okay, like pens and writing utensils, the same damn thing. But anyway, there's a lot of different things that you could put in there. I've even seen people use these for cable organization, so they'll wind up a cable and put it in each pouch. Just very, very, almost unlimited uses, right? You know, and if you did want to use it for you know, for tools, you certainly could. Let me get back to the hem end zip pouch though, because I actually have 2 that are like this from a different company, and I use them all the time. Now, I think that these are kind of one of those gimmies, right? Like brands will make these, but they don't really make any money on them. But if you have one of these, they are so simple, so easy to make. I even made one, but so damn handy. I can't even explain it. This is one of the things that I will use when I'm packing, and I'll put my little stuff in there, whether it's toiletries, whether it's chargers and stuff, and you know, random accessories. I'll put them in this bag, and I have 2 of them, and I'll throw them into my main compartment. I like doing that, like sub organization. But this thing's $18, and you can get it in all the different colors that they make, which is cool. So there's blues and greens and khaki and gray and black, and it's $18, so it's awesome. Here's the side benefit of this, though. This is a good way to start feeling some of their fabrics, because 1620 isn't really, you know, it's not in your local Tractor Supply. And a lot of times you don't really know what it's like until you can get your hands on it. This is a good way to actually experience some of the 1620 material and see what it's like, how stretchy it is, what the surface looks like, and all that stuff. And do it in a cheap way and just say, would I want some pants made out of this? You know, so it's a good way to do that. But I really applaud them for taking what would be scrap and something they would have to throw away and making something out of it that's reasonably priced. Really cool move, 1620. I think that was very smart. All right, finally, I want to end it again on Sashiko. So we did 2 camos, 2 Sashikos here, but I have this vest. This is Ironheart makes these vests in a number of different materials. I actually have the black one with, it's like a pinstripe on it, and I wear it occasionally. It's a great layering piece. I think I went with an XL, which honestly, I wish I went with a large, because vests have a nice way of sort of streamlining your silhouette. So when you're wearing a shirt that may be a little bit billowy, it kind of compresses it down and it makes it look a little bit more trim. Now, this is a 14-ounce Sashiko Dobby cloth duck work vest. Now, I say work vest, but you're not wearing this to work, are you? It's $340 because it's Ironheart. And it just, I don't know, man. I'll tell you this much. Like I said, I have this in a different material, and I kind of wish I had bought 2 of them. As a matter of fact, the first time I ever saw one of these, they was sold out everywhere. And I was looking around to where I could have one made that was exactly like it. And there aren't many places. Now, some places will do something similar, but not exactly like it. And I just think, especially like this, you know, this indigo sashiko, it's going to look so good when you start to wear it and use it. It's like you can't even, you buy it for what it looks like now, but you were rewarded with what it looks like later. Just beautiful. And Ironheart, I mean, again, some of the best manufacturing out there, very consistently high quality. $340 sounds like a ton of money for a vest, and it is. But I'll say this, when you handle something from Ironheart, you never, or I have never gone, man, I wish I hadn't spent that much money. I'm always picking it up and going, damn, this is nice. There's a density, there's a heft, there's a build quality to it that I haven't felt with many other products out there. Really great stuff. And although this is sold out in a lot of different sizes, I'm going to actually look around for it at different places, different resellers. I'm sure that there is one out there where I can pick one up, because if I can find one, I'm getting it. All right, that's all I got for you this week. There's some cool stuff, though. I'm happy to see some of these brands coming up with interesting stuff, and I'll definitely dive more into shirts next time. I know that this was pants heavy, I guess. Heavy pants. Anybody know what heavy pants are? Anybody ever do P90X? It's where you put a dumbbell on either side of you, and you kind of crouch down, and you sort of, it's like a lat exercise, also like biceps and stuff like that. It's actually pretty good. Why did I talk about that? Oh yeah, heavy pants. You see, the weave is going way off the rails here. But either way, I actually have something that I want to talk to my patrons about. So I want to get to that now, because it's not a serious topic, but something that's been kind of bugging me. So we're going to go to the patrons only segment right now. For the rest of you, thank you so much for watching. I really do appreciate it. And I'll catch you next week.